we've had a as we I'll just say a few stories about, I can remember the day I was on my kitchen table writing the concept of traumatization, Emily, on a piece of paper, and coming to the realization that was how traumatization occurred. I wish I kept that paper, but I'm sure I threw it out. But it came from another model. But what I'm going to do today, what I'd like to do today, is just do a little color havening. Some people may not be familiar with color havening. It's not one of our 7 or 8 foundational havenings, but it's really very useful for you and your clients, especially when we're dealing in basal ganglia or felt sense. So many times we may or may not be able to have a declarative memory about something because it's dissociated, it's before the age of 5 or 6 when the hippocampus comes online. But the procedural memories, those type of memories that occurred before these things. Remember I said that we have 2 memory systems. So the adaptiveness of our consciousness to our neural system felt it sufficient to have 2 memory systems, one that we can remember things, and then that one that we have felt senses about. So an example of that felt sense would be seeing, as a neonate, seeing your mother come to you to offer you food. And what's interesting about that is the neonate sees the mother bringing food, and what does the newborn do? The newborn smiles. Now, it takes 46 muscles to smile. Now, that's a pretty sophisticated dance that a neonate now, in terms of understanding that in its enlightened self-interest, this particular motion of smiling will engage the mother to give it food. And these are parts of basal ganglia and felt senses that we cannot have declarative thoughts about. So I'm trying to just add a little bit of that. So if everybody wouldn't mind, we're going to do a little color havening now. So if everyone would just make themselves very comfortable in a chair, let's say that we'll do this probably within about 10 minutes. Is that okay, Doug?
Sure.
Great. So what I'd like everybody to do is make themselves really comfortable and sit back in a chair and try to get in touch with the conscious awareness that you have around your experiences of the COVID bacteria. Now, I don't want it to take away your sensitivity to it, but I do want to downregulate the fear and anxiety associated with it. So if you were to close your eyes, and if one can come up with a color that would represent that feeling about the COVID virus, and then come up with a color that represents a place that you feel safe in regards to the COVID virus. And then I'm going to use a pure white. And if someone has a problem with the color white, pick another color, but I'm going to use that white as a diluter. So if someone has a problem with white, choose another color. If they all feel comfortable with white, that's fine. So what I'd like you to do for about 15 seconds, 20 seconds, is bring up that felt sense of the emotion with your eyes closed. You don't need to generate an SUD about it. This is just something that you could do by yourself after our session, and just bring it to conscious memory. And then when I snap my fingers, I want you to let go of that memory and begin taking the purest white you can imagine, and in your mind, beginning to dilute that color as you begin to haven yourself. Face havening, arm havening. 1, 2, 3, remove that thought from your mind. Begin adding the white to dilute that color as you haven yourself. You can choose whatever type of havening you wish. You could do arm havening, you could do face havening, you could do palm havening, and we're just going to do that until we continue to dilute that color and bring that color as close to a pure white, or whatever color you find representation of neutral, to dissolve that emotion, to begin to create a very neutral moment in regards to those feelings. We're not trying to change anything yet. We're just trying to diminish the amount of overload that we're feeling in our systems and enable us to be on a more even keel, be able to see things a little bit more comfortably, not to excite our immune system, not to put our emotional feelings at a higher level so that we don't go into a greater degree of vulnerability. So I want everybody to just gently palm haven, and maybe even what I'll do is I'll put on a little music. That would be nice. And let's go see what I can do. I hope someone likes this, and continue to palm haven. We're just going to go to the purest white we can achieve to reduce that felt sense. Continue to haven. We're going to do it for another 35 seconds. Keep your breathing comfortable. Allow yourself to feel comfortable in your chair. Allow yourself to feel relaxed. Allow yourself to enjoy the moment. Okay, now everyone, if whatever level you've got, begin to enter into that little cauldron or little space that you're changing the color that you want to be for calm. And just begin to introduce that like you're pouring paint into a jar. And I want you to sense that color bathing you, infusing your cells with that color, sensing the safety of that color, the calmness of that color, the calmness within oneself. We're going to do this for 2 minutes. Continue to haven. Breathe gently. Taking deep cleansing breaths, allowing any unresidual emotion just to flow out of you. Transpire those feelings and feel the development of that calm as you introduce that beautiful color, that color that has so much meaning to you. Wonderful. Beautiful. Just another minute or so. Allow yourself the privilege of losing that stress. Allow yourself the ability to feel clearer in these times of uncertainty. Allow yourself to interact with other people in a kind and more gentle way. Allow yourself to become creative again, even though our emotions are high. Allow yourself to be able to work on projects. Allow yourself to be yourself again. Okay. I'd like everybody to continue havening. Take some deep breaths in through your nose and breathe it out. And there's the timer. So whenever you're ready, just open your eyes and do an ecological check on how you're feeling. And know that you can do this with any emotion that you have, anytime you want, or if you're feeling particularly stressed or uncomfortable, just apply this very, very simple technique, and I think you'll find yourself much more comfortable. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes, and I'll put my face back on Skype somehow. Doug, how am I going to get myself back on here?
I have no idea, Steve. I think you
Okay.
can, I mean, I have you on mine.
Am I talking? Does that make me come up now?
It could do. I could put on speaker view so that we can all see you.
Hi. A little notes in the box. How is that for everyone? Great.
If you want to be on full screen, it's the speaker view on the top.
Let me see how I can do that.
For me, it's on the right side, but
go to. I'm in only gallery view now.
Gallery view is everybody. If you want speaker view, that should say that as well.
Can you see me?
Yeah, we have you on us.
Full screen.
Yeah.
Great. Great. I hope that was helpful to everyone today. And I wish I just, the few things, this is a closing statement on my talk tonight, is that be a buddy for someone in our community. Be a buddy. That's all. Doug, I just passed the baton back to you.
Cool.
And
love batons.
Keep going.
Okay, then I'll take over. So thank you for that. It was lovely. I'm going to put us back on the gallery view. See everyone here. So, gosh, thanks, Steve. That was awesome. Great presentation. Wonderful little experience just there. Some people said it's the first way they've seen color havening done quite that same way. That's a nice way to do it. Very, very nice. And boy, doesn't havening feel good. Oh, God. You know, it's interesting. I did a workshop literally 2 weeks ago, which was probably the last workshop anyone will do for a very long period of time. It was a wonderful Ericksonian hypnotherapist person that I've studied with before, but it's been a long time, so I really, really wanted to attend. Stephen Gilligan was presenting in New York City. And Stephen is an NLPer from way back. He studied with Bandler and Grinder as a student, and went and spent a long time with Erickson. So he's been around a long time. And one of his teachers, one of his professors when he was at the university there, was Virginia Satir, who is a very famous family therapist and was also instrumental in being modeled for the early NLP models. But Virginia Satir, you might have heard of. She's fairly famous for saying that to sustain health, the person needs like about, I think, making this up, about 5 hugs every day just for maintenance. And for growth, personal growth, a person needs at least 10 hugs. And we're not just talking about like the bro hugs, hey, how you doing? But, you know, like a meaningful held embrace, you know, for like 10 of those per day. And I think at this period of time right now, interestingly, with social isolation and stuff, it's hard to get those 10 hugs. But we can do this. You know, we can do self-havening. We can do a momentary thing wherein we stop the world for a minute. And it doesn't have to be for long. It just has to be a little bit of time, you know. But to do that, I remember a statement someone was saying that once, is if you should meditate, you should probably meditate an hour a day for optimal health, an hour a day of meditation. And if you don't have time to do an hour a day, then you should meditate for 2 hours a day. Because it's clearly you need it if you don't have time to do an hour a day. So it's kind of like that. We need to take the time for ourselves. And as Steve was saying, and we mentioned earlier, it's wonderful to have this incredible community of Haveners. It's so wonderful to see so many faces on this call today. And we can reach out, we can communicate with each other. We connect on Facebook, we can connect in a variety of different ways, and find a buddy, find somebody, you know, multiple buddies to do exactly what we're doing here, you know, to share havening with another Havener, you know, to use this. So many of us will have to leave. That was a beautiful, and Steve, longer than 40 minutes presentation, I'll just say.
I may tweak. We had a lot of Q&A. So you know, that won't be so much when I make the permanent presentation.
Well,
but
still, it's almost 2 hours long. So
that was almost 2 hours long. Well, I'm gonna have to cut it down.
Maybe a little. Maybe a little. But so that being said, we don't really have an awful lot of time left over in our time to do breakout groups. So I'm going to leave it up to you. You have to monitor yourself. I'm willing to go for another half an hour till 7:30 as our appointed time. And if you don't want to do a breakup group, then say goodnight and get out of here. And within a minute or two, we will take who's ever left and put you into groups of 2. So you can do a little, you know, 15-minute, maybe 10-minute havening for each other. So good night to those of you who are going. You can just wave and hit end meeting. I'm going to stop the recording now. So good night all in the recording land as well.